Let's move into main topic number 2. And our second main topic today gets submitted to us by Benson Edgar, who writes, "Hey, John and Rob, I hope you guys all had a wonderful Christmas holiday season." I did, thank you, Benson. I appreciate you asking. So, I watched Wonder Woman 84 on Christmas Day with my family, and I liked it enough, I suppose, but it wasn't nearly as good as the first one, in my opinion. Without giving anything spoilery away, I was wondering if you guys could give us your thoughts on the movie. Did it live up to your expectations? Thank you, and Happy New Year in advance. All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And yeah, I mean, it was a couple of days ago. Wonder Woman 84 came out and hit theaters. Now, I did yesterday a 5-hour open spoiler discussion on the movie. You guys can go and see that open spoiler discussion there, but we'll give you some non-spoilery thoughts for those of you who have not seen the film yet. Overall, here's my thoughts on the movie. There's a lot of division out there right now on Wonder Woman 84. A lot of people saying they really liked it. A lot of people saying they really hated it. I am in neither camp, personally. I didn't hate the film. I didn't think it was complete and, abject garbage, like, say, Michael Fassbender's Assassin's Creed. I don't think it was complete and utter garbage. I thought there were some redeemable things in the movie. There were moments in the movie that I actually quite enjoyed. One particular movie, Rob, just a simple little scene of Kristen Wiig walking through a park and talking with a homeless guy. There are moments like that throughout the movie that I really did quite enjoy. The problem is those moments were few and they were fairly far between. And unfortunately, the issues I had with the film outweighed that. So I don't think it's a completely terrible movie. I don't think it's as bad, for example, as Birds of Prey and the Fabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. But the best word I know how to use for it, Rob, is disappointed. I was disappointed. Because not just because it didn't live up to my expectations, which were admittedly fairly high. They were tempered a little bit because I didn't like the trailers, but I still had fairly high expectations. Not to mention I'm a huge fan of Patty Jenkins as a director. But, every director has a bad day at the office, even Spielberg. And this was Patty Jenkins' bad day at the office. There was a lot of continuity problems I had. There was a lot of just common sense logic problems I had. There was just a lot of things about not introducing concepts that became important to the movie. It was overly long. This movie did not need to be 2.5 hours long. There just wasn't a need for this movie to be 2.5 hours long. So at the end of the day, I watched it twice and I just walk away saying I was disappointed in the film. I didn't particularly enjoy it. I don't think it was complete trash, but I didn't particularly enjoy it. Rob, in a non-spoilery way, you had a chance to watch Wonder Woman 84. What were your thoughts on it?
I wished it was better, but I look, here's what I didn't understand. The first Wonder Woman film was about Diana going into man's world for the first time and discovering that Europe was locked in the war to end all wars, the trench warfare of World War I. And the fact that she found courage in man's world and camaraderie with Steve Trevor and his merry band of brigands and joined them and participated in this conflict really had resonance for me. And I really enjoyed how they tied in real world history in a superhero fantasy context. This movie went the other direction. It took a fantasy context and went more fantastical. It was completely removed from anything to do with the real world. And yet they set it in a very specific time period. So when I knew that was coming, like having lived through that myself, I'm like, wow, there's a lot going on there. Height of the Cold War, Reagan's presidency, AIDS was beginning to rage across the world. There was the music, the pop culture that was coming out, the Olympics. I mean, there was all kinds of craziness that I thought, okay, how are they going to tie in the real world the way they did in Wonder Woman 1 into 1984? All of that was dispensed with for this weird, fantastical plot of a wishing stone that was created by a malevolent god that, by the way, we never see. When you find out that Ares was
Don't go too much into spoilers. Don't go too much into spoilers.
Right. Okay. But there was nothing. there was an insinuation that there was another god involved, the same way that Ares was involved, but they never went down that road. They didn't. They could have mirrored what happened in the idea that the gods of Olympus are somehow meddling in the affairs of humanity, as we saw in Wonder Woman. The first Wonder Woman is a really interesting idea, because Diana is a child of Zeus. Obviously, the Amazonians are divine, at least divine as far as the gods of Olympus go. And I thought they would have continued on that track, because they had a pretty fantastical plot line that I just didn't buy into. I thought it was inappropriate for the Wonder Woman they established in the first film and had been established all the way back into Batman v Superman. So I think overall, I love Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. She's grown into the role. I thought the performers were good. My problem with this movie was this really weird, fantastical, nonsensical plot that was more at home in a children's book than what they had established in the first movie. And I felt tremendous disappointment in that. I expected more of this franchise. And instead of going in a direction that I'd hoped it would have gone into, it went in another way entirely that I thought was more along the lines of the Wonder Woman television series of the 70s. And I was perplexed by that.
Yeah, and one of the other things that like I said, I did a 5-hour spoiler discussion, kind of laundry listing all the things that
we did too.
Issues with. But I mean, one of the big things to me too, after watching it a second time, was really, listen, I'm not as into Wonder Woman as I am, say, into Batman, right? Sure. So Joker is like, but can you imagine a Batman movie where you have Joker and he's your secondary villain? Like, that's basically, look, there are definitely huge, antagonists in Wonder Woman's pantheon of villains, right? But Cheetah is right up there. You could make an argument Cheetah is pretty much Wonder Woman's Joker, and for her to be the secondary villain, I'm like, really? And listen, and I like Kristen Wiig in it. I was nervous about Kristen Wiig's casting because I didn't know she'd be a good fit. Turns out I thought she fit into the role quite well, but I don't know how you do that. And like I said, to me, I don't want to go into all the things that I did appreciate because I don't want to give any spoilers away in this thing, but there were a number of things that I thought were done pretty well and some nice moments I found myself grinning and enjoying, but I think the kindest word I can give is disappointed.
Yeah, here's what I don't understand. Like in the end of these movies, like they took a page from Marvel's movies, they give a lot of comic creators credit in the end titles for participating in the how the character developed. And with Jeff Johns, one of DC's cornerstone comic book writers of the last, say, 20 years, he was one of the writers on this. And unlike what Marvel does, they go and they take inspiration from actual comic runs the Winter Soldier was Ed Brubaker's run on Captain America. Well, George Perez did a pretty definitive run on Wonder Woman in the 80s, post Crisis on Infinite Earths, and he leaned heavily into the Greek mythology, and Ares and Cheetah were big villains in his comic run. And I was really excited thinking, okay, they're going to go in that direction. They really didn't. And I was surprised by that, especially with Jeff Johns' love and knowledge of the DC pantheon. I found the plot line just perplexing to me.
Yeah. So end of the day, and again, we acknowledge here there's a lot of people out there who really like the movie, and that's awesome. Rob and I want to love every movie that we watch, and we want to love everybody to love all the movies they watch. And if you guys had a real positive experience with it, awesome. I'm a little bit jealous. I wish I had the same positive experience. Unfortunately, I did. But the question is, guys, did you have a chance to watch Wonder Woman 84? If so, what did you think? Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys.